You may be wondering how someone like me, who grew up with only a grocery bag full of books, could turn into someone who helped a school district read not thousands, but over 1 million books. I helped some kids read over 1 million words. How did I do it? I'll tell you how. When I first began teaching in California, the first thing our new superintendent said, banging his head on the podium, I want all children to be on grade level by the end of the school year. That sounds reasonable, I thought, until I met my students. The first day in class, I found out by noon recess that out of 30 kids, third grade, only one of them could read. And they couldn't even read, she couldn't read Green Eggs and Ham. She could only read Hop on Pop. I don't know if you're familiar with those books, but Hop on Pop is about a first grade level book. I was scared. How am I going to teach 30 kids to be on grade level by the end of the year? I knew it wasn't possible. So after school, I got in my car and I drove straight to the superintendent's office. I knocked on his door. I said, I need for somebody to document that the children in my class can't read. And he said to me, well, Miss Allen, I liked people to come to me with solutions, not problems. Do you have any solutions? And I said, as a matter of fact, I do. You see, I just moved from Tennessee. And there I was using a reading program and my students were reading thousands of books each year. He was a little interested and he said, well, do you think you could do that for our school district? And I said, as a matter of fact, I think I can. Soon he got all the equipment and all the books from my room and I became the pilot classroom. I helped the teacher next door and together we started getting our kids to read more books. About a month later, the superintendent came into the room and he checked out my kids and they were intently holding a book. And the next door class, who had higher readers, were reading books and he was impressed. He asked me to come and visit his office. And when I did, there was a group of administrators and they asked me if I'd be willing to step outside my classroom role and become a teacher on special assignment. That meant that I would no longer teach, but I would be in charge of teaching or training teachers in 11 schools how to use the program that I brought with me from Tennessee. I thought it sounded like a great idea. I'll do it for sure. So the next year I spent training teachers, librarians. I leveled entire libraries full of books for age appropriate material. I purchased hardware, I purchased software, I purchased thousands of books for teachers. And all along, I was having so much fun with it, I sent a video to the headquarters of the reading program I was using to Wisconsin, and they hired me to become a trainer for their company. So while I was teaching in the district, I was also flying around the West Coast, training teachers in different schools, Southern California, Nevada, all over how to use this reading program. I believed in it, it worked, and kids all over were reading thousands of books. Is it magic? No, it wasn't magic. We used a philosophy that was from a Russian psychologist named Lev Vygotsky. Vygotsky's theory was, if you gave a book to children that was too easy, like this one, maybe for some kids, they'd never grow in their reading. If you gave a book to kids like this one, to kids who couldn't read at all, see how many words, that it would be too difficult and they would break down and they wouldn't want to read because it was too hard. The computer software that we used, I said it wasn't magic, but how it works is that every book a child reads, they have to then go to the computer and take a small quiz. And if they pass the quiz, the scores would go into the computer. If they didn't pass, it didn't count. I mean, the score would go in, but the book didn't count. So we couldn't count it as a book read. But what it did was it allowed the teacher to kind of find out at what level a kid could read best. That's why we called it ZPD. It stands for the Zone of Proximal Development. Once you gave a kid a book that they could read, then they enjoyed reading and they wanted to read more and more. And the information that we were able to pull from that reading software was amazing. We could know how many nonfiction books they read versus fiction books and how many words they read. It was just amazing, the things that this software did for us. I spent 2 years in the district helping with this program, and it was probably one of the most important things I ever did for children. They loved it, I loved it, the teachers loved it, the administrators loved it, and word got out, and soon all the counties around Monterey were using the program. It was fabulous. It still is. They still love it. And I'm still buying books for them, even though I'm not even a teacher anymore. I had a passion for books when I started in the classroom and I found this program because it helped me realize there were more books besides Beverly Cleary's books. I didn't know that before. So now I am reading more and more and more children's books, and so are many more children. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster.